Hello everyone, this is Joe Rule from Raconteur Animation. Back again this Friday with another tutorial, another rigging tutorial actually. We're going to be looking at how to create what I will call an accordion rig for this project. Another one for print trace systems. This is another part of the Apple labeling machine that we worked on. So this is the effect. We're going to look at how to create the rigging for this with it's one controller. One controller, one attribute controls this entire thing. Let's see. I will show you in QuickTime here where this effect happens. There. Anyway, and I'm going to open up the example project here, and I'm going to start explaining how this is rigged. So this is going to use IK chains again, and there's going to be one IK chain for each pair of these levers. This is one lever here. And these are to give you an idea of how this model is constructed. This is the sort of the inner workings of these air cannons, or guns as I call them here. And yeah, there's a pin running through the center of each of these. So this is the hinge where these levers pivot, and the IK chains are going to be for each pair, like I said before. And I divided them up by color to help you understand how this is going to work. So there's a red pair here, and I have them divided up in the outliner here as well. So there's going to be one joint chain here. There's going to be one joint chain for this lever, one joint chain for this lever, one joint chain for this lever. And then the entire thing is going to be controlled by moving controllers on the center points of each of these, where these joint chains, or where the root pivot points of each of these joint chains is going to be what controls this entire system. So, and also ahead of time, to make things simpler, I set up what I'll call aligners here. These are just objects that are at the pivot points in the center and the pivot points on the outer edges of each of these lever objects. And then we can use these to easily create our joints and our controllers, and everything will snap into place perfectly, and we won't have to worry about misalignments and that type of thing. And it's important to note too that these aligners, as I'll call them, are lined up vertically here because these bones need to function on two axes only. They can't move back and forth in Z space. So all of these aligners are aligned up in Z space. So anyway, let's get started creating the joints here. First, I'm going to create the set of joints for these for the red levers. So I'm just going to use Control-1 to isolate my aligner objects, and I'm going to create a joint from here to here to here. And I will go to the rigging menu set, go to skeleton, create joints, and I'm actually just going to pop this menu off so I can easily access this. And click on create joints, and then I'm going to click on point snapping as well so I can snap to the center point of each of these little cylinders. We'll start here, here, and here. And that's it. So that's one of our joint chains, and you'll see how that aligns with these. So the idea is that when we move, we'll make this into an IK chain, make this joint chain into an IK chain, and when, say, this part moves out and this part moves like this, and this will, of course, because it's an IK, it'll move like that, then it'll, these levers will move with it, and we don't even have to rig the other side of these levers. The other side will just take care of themselves, as long as we're controlling with rigging where they attach at one point here, at this pivot point. So I'll just undo that. And then I'm going to go down the list here and go down the rest of the model and create the rest of the joint chains. So I'll isolate my aligners. I need to create the next chain for these green levers right here, 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 here. Create joints. Oh, make sure my point snapping is on. Here, here, here. And then isolate it. Next one, I want to create it for this blue. So I have the red and I have the green. Next is going to be the blue. So isolate my aligners again. Here, oh sorry, here, here, here. Snap there, there, and there. So, and then next I want to create it for the yellow. So it's going to be here, here, here. Isolate my aligners, create joints, here, here, and here. And then next I want to create the purple. So isolate my aligners, create joints, here, here, and here. And then de-isolate next for the turquoise. These three. Isolate aligners, create joints, here, here, and here. Yep. And then next will be this red again. Isolate aligners, create joints, here, here, and here. And then the green. Isolate aligners, create joints, here, here, and here. Now, let's take a look at how the aligners and the joints look just on their own, so you can see what is set up here. So, oops, a bit of a mistake there. Don't need joint 13, so I'll just pop that out. Delete joint 13 app. Now it completely broke. Okay. So I'm just going to delete that and create a new one. Okay. And then pop that up in the hierarchy where it's supposed to be. Yes, okay. So that's what those are all of our joints. It might not make any sense right now, but as we start setting up the IK chains and things, it'll start to make more sense. The next step is going to be to create all of our controllers. And the controllers happen all along the center of these IK chains. So we'll have one for each of the roots and the endpoints for these joints along here. So I'm just going to isolate my aligners again, and again I'm using Control-1 to do that. And close this menu. I'm going to create a locator, and we're just going to call this Control-1. Control-1. And point snapping is on. I'm just going to drag it into the center point of here. And then Command D to duplicate, or Control D, drag it to the next center, Command D. And so on. Command D, Command D, Command D. All right, and then we're going to take all of these controllers and I'm going to place them inside of a group. So go into my outliner here, shift select all of them, and do Command G to put them in a group. And then I'm going to go to Modify and center the pivot here. And I'm going to rename this group Lever Controller Group. Okay. And then all we have to do to get all of these joints to move simultaneously, once these locator controllers are set up, all we have to do is scale this. You see how they move out. And then all of these levers are going to follow those controllers. Like that. So next step, we need to set up all of our IK chains for these joints. And I'm actually going to rename these joint chains here because they're all disorganized right now. So I can select that, and then I'll use this little box up here to rename them. So I'll call this xLeverJoint, and this corresponds to this first group of levers. So we can call it xLeverJoint 1. So, and then this corresponds to group 2 here. So we can call this xLeverJoint 2. I'm actually just going to shift click on all of these to open up the hierarchies. This is xLeverJoint 3. Copy that. xLeverJoint 4. 5. 6. 7. And 8. Okay. Close all of those hierarchies. And I'm going to isolate all of the joints now. Select all of them, Control-1. And I'm not going to do that. Isolate just the first one. And then we, as I said before, we need to create our IK chains. So IK setup, sorry, handle. So I'm going to tear off this menu and then click on Create IK Handle. And it's as simple as first clicking on the start joint, as it says in the lower left-hand corner of the screen, and then click on the end joint. And then that's going to create this IK handle right here. And when I move that handle, that's when we start seeing some different action in the joints. So now I'll isolate the second group, and I'm just going to do the same thing and then go all the way down the line and create IK handles for each of these. Now, so we have all these IK handles as well as the joint chains here. And the next step then is to link our IK handles and our joints with our controller so that everything can be controlled with the scale attribute, as I mentioned before. So I'm going to isolate all of this, and then I'm going to use the Constrain-Parent option to drive all of this. So I'm going to tear off this menu as well, and then click on my parent options and make sure it's just set to translate all. And then the first parent that I want to do is going to be to attach this controller with the root of this joint chain. So to parent, first I'm going to click on the object that I want to be the parent. And first you click on the parent, then you click on the child. So I want the controller to be the parent, the driver, and then the child to be this first bone, and then click add. And if I click on the bone now and open up my channel box, you'll see that all of the translate attributes here are locked down. They're now controlled by this locator. If I grab this locator, you can see it's moving around. So, and then likewise, if I grab this lever controller and scale it, oh, now we start to get some action here. So, next controller, I'm going to parent the first IK handle to this controller here. So I click on the controller first, command click on the IK handle, then click parent. Okay. Now, if I start using our lever controller group here, open up scale, now we start to see some action, and things are starting to make more sense. Like so. And then you can use the translate attributes to move things around as well. All right, the next step is to actually, our rig is fully functioning now. That's actually the entire rig. It's not that complicated once you break it down. Yeah, this is our entire rig. So the next step is to put our Polygon objects into the rig to get the Polygon objects to actually start moving with it. So I divide them up into colors here to hopefully make things a little easier to see. The first joint chain, this xLeverJoint 1, is going to be driving the red joints here. So I'm going to take this Polygon object and drop it inside of the first joint, which runs from here to here. Middle click and drag, parent it, and then the second one I'm going to drop into the second joint, like that. And then if I grab my controller, and then, so I'll close that joint chain, open up the next one, and again, middle click and drag into the first joint, open this up, second polygon object, middle click and drag into the second joint. And if I control it now, you can see things starting to work. And I'm just going to go down the line here and do that for the rest of these. And now if as long as I did everything correctly, if I move this controller now, hey, everything's working. Awesome. And we can move it back and forth. Perfect. And then to reset it back to default, of course, you just change the scale attribute back to 1. It goes back. Now, the last part of this is the rest of these polygon objects that attach to these accordion levers, I'll call them. And these are actually, they're set up already with some parenting. So I have this plunger object here that is parented to the gun frame. And this gun frame is what moves back and forth. So I'm just going to do the same thing and as I did before with parenting, and parent this gun frame to each of my controllers here. So the gun frame 1 is going to be parented to the first controller. So I'll click Control 1, Command click on the gun frame, and then click Parent. Okay, now if I move my controller again with the scale attribute, and that's it. It's the entire rig. You can move it back and forth like this, scale it. You gotta keep these objects to move. That is it. So thanks again for watching. Please leave any comments, questions, concerns, criticisms in the comments below. And do reach out to us at raconteuranimation.com. You can see more of our work. Let me know if there are other effects in these videos that you would like to see demonstrated. I hope to see you again next time.